This is the DLR Cast, the essential podcast for fans of Diamond David Lee Roth. All right, folks, once again, you got the DLR Cast, the podcast by and for fans of David Lee Roth. For this episode, we will live up to our mantra, and that is we're fans, but we are most definitely not fanboys. Here with me now, as always, from Las Vegas, Darren Paltrowitz. And Darren, how are you, and where the hell do we begin?
Well, I've lost track of the number of days. We're taping this on January 7th. We got here December 25th. So I guess this is like 2 weeks in Vegas, a little more than that. And beautiful town, but not apparently in this modern era.
Oh, man. Well, if you're listening to this podcast, it would be ridiculous to say, for those of you who don't know, the whole David Lee Roth retirement residency was canceled. The first 2 dates, and then a couple of days later after that announcement, all of it. Again, I just don't even know where to begin or talk about this, because it's expected. You could say it's expected because of COVID. Let's face it, there's a lot we don't know. But let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
The way it was handled, the way this all came down, is maddening.
Yes. And when you say, of course, you guys know, I'm still reading comments on Facebook. The Roth fan base, I'm learning, is not the most tech savvy, because there's people are posting yesterday. They're like, I think the shows might be canceled. So it's not as if everyone knows. I was telling you this within a day of getting here. It was like, Steve, I don't think anyone is talking about this residency.
Yeah.
I was staying at the Venetian the first couple of days of this trip, and the Katy Perry shows, which were not at the Venetian, were being advertised there. Other hotels' shows are being advertised at different hotels. When you checked into the Mandalay Bay on the 30th, there was like a flyer that had Roth show, the Michael Jackson show, which had like equal billing in the flyer, and I forget what the third one is right there. And that same flyer had a stand-up sign or two in the lobby, but it's not like this was oh my God, David Lee Roth is in town. No one was talking about this. I saw a couple people in Van Halen shirts, but it's not like it was. What's an example of a residency that everyone talking, like Aerosmith?
Yeah, when Aerosmith first hit, or trying to think of a big pop star like a Cher or something. But yeah, no, you basically the moment you walk through the airport. I mean, if you don't see something in the airport, you're going to see something in your cab ride, or now your Uber ride. You're going to see stuff.
Yeah, there was zero fanfare. I said this on the prior episode. The people at the Lupo restaurant didn't know Roth was at the hotel, and they're 500 feet from the venue. I mean, nobody knew about it. So then, the plot thickens with these quote-unquote sold-out shows. I was talking to people who were buying tickets to the sold-out shows a week out. So then there was wait, are these really sold-out shows? So it's kind of like, as more time went on, everything you thought you knew, you didn't know. And then there was the mystery of, was it canceled because someone in the band had COVID, someone in the crew had COVID? What was it? We still don't know, correct?
As far as I know, I mean, I've been looking on things. It's so funny because 3 days ago, everybody ran with it. And then, of course, 21 hours ago, Entertainment Weekly, David Lee Roth cancels Las Vegas shows out of retirement. All right. So way to get on that really fast. But no, we haven't seen anything really. We saw the one there was one statement, was it 2 days ago? And, where it's not about me anymore, where Dave said he issued a statement that said, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We got rained out, COVID canceled. The Rocker wrote in a message shared with Entertainment Weekly. Future shows, ? When the benefit concert for Colorado Farm Aid and hospital workers and hospital workers everywhere, and everywhere is in quotes, come up, call me. That's an odd quote. And a similar statement of Fox News, Roth added, quote, it's not about me anymore. Man, first off, if Dave or anyone has COVID, and of course Omicron being so incredibly contagious, let's hope everybody is healthy and hope for the best here. Yeah, I was thinking of what could have been done differently, right? First off, I suppose, as we discussed in depth on the last episode, how would you make the announcement any farther in advance than when you absolutely know? I don't know what kind of, maybe what kind of financial chicanery or what came in. Maybe there was some contract where the insurance doesn't kick in until X amount of hours before curtain time. I just don't know. That's equivalent to watching sausage being made, right? There's a lot we don't know. Behind the curtain, we're not sure if we actually want to see it. So, but I'll put that aside. I'm not exactly sure how differently, I'm sorry, time-wise, how much more in advance, how you could make the announcement that the first two are canceled or all of it's canceled without fucking things up for people. This isn't a slew of tour dates. This is a destination, 5 shows. This is it, retirement. This isn't, well, I'll catch them on the next leg. I mean, when Kiss is canceling dates and everybody is canceling dates left and right. Side note, fingers crossed that Cheap Trick dates that start at the end of this month and next month go off as scheduled. I'm a little worried about 3/4 of the band are 70 years old. One had open heart surgery in the beginning of the year. I went way off topic there, but you get the idea. I mean, things are canceling left and right, but you'll go, okay, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe in June when they reschedule, whatever it might be. The bone I think that we have to pick here is that it was so cryptic. Outside of these statements, there was nothing. And I was just thinking back how often the last iteration of the Roth show, which was basically, it was a podcast, but he did a video thing on YouTube. Remember, it was him and he had some assistant they referred to. I can't remember the guy's name. And that guy would talk off camera. It was almost like a radio show where he had a partner in crime talking to him, a sidekick, for lack of a better word. And there was some pom froms in the background. In the background, you hear that, that whole instrumental bed. How easy would it have been for him to just go up and go, Diamond Dave here, folks. Wow, got to tell you, but I'm sorry, COVID got us. Without even giving so much dip, but just go up there right away with a video message, which, when that doesn't happen, maybe he's sick. I don't know.
Yeah, we come away from this knowing even less than we thought or less than we knew to begin with. And I think that with some smart planning, he could have solved a lot of these issues. First thing is, and keep in mind that a couple of Roth insiders I had the pleasure of texting with over the past week or so, and everyone was going, oh my God, this is being handled poorly. This is not anything that I would ever condone or anything along those lines. First example of what he could have done, release the John 5 album or give us another song from that. That would have gotten people talking about something new or interesting.
Yeah.
Announce the Roth show is coming back. Announce something about his paintings. Announce something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Instead, we come away going, is he coming back? Is this the retirement has begun?
Everything's been exceedingly cryptic, because now I'm thinking back to this October announcement that only went to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, basically, right? It wasn't even an interview, it was just a quote where he said, my doctors, my handlers compelled me to really address it every time I go on stage. I endanger that future. Saying that his time, my time is probably even short. I've come to grips how short my time is. What the hell does that mean? What did that mean back in October, for goodness sakes? And you still commit to doing 5 shows, but now this is, let's take this at face value. It was COVID. Is it Dave? I like that Dave was a band member. They could have got somebody to plug in from that retinue of people that he could reach out to, right?
Yeah, there were rumors that it was the guitar player Al Estrada who has mysteriously disappeared from Instagram. So not totally out of the question with that. But this all led to a news story nobody's talked about, and that's Michael Anthony arriving in Las Vegas 2 or 3 days ago and posting about it on Instagram. What? Was Michael Anthony going to come out during these shows?
I would sooner make a bet on that than I would Alex showing up at any of the shows. So yeah. Speaking of bets, if you had, as you are in Vegas, if you had to place a bet, would you bet that Dave has COVID? Was he the one who had COVID? And I don't think it makes any difference at this point. Obviously, we want him to be healthy, but if he's canceling it and he's saying it's COVID related, everybody's going to jump to that conclusion.
I would bet it is not him because he was able to get that painting done.
Well, yes.
It's a lot of time and attention that he put into that painting instead of a 4-sentence press release or 4-sentence statement of Diamond Dave here. I'm not going to do the Yelp that you did before. I know a lot of you traveled. Sorry, we'll see you soon. That's all he had to do instead of a painting.
Yeah. It's frustrating. I mean, all there are rumors, and I hate to think anybody listening to this thinks that we're trafficking in rumors because we're not. I mean, we're basically kind of just observationalists and reporting what we know and see and hear and read. It's all cryptic all the time. But you're right as far as how this could have been handled so much better and differently. It bums me out. I'm really disappointed in Hero. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, if you look at how Sammy Hagar would have handled this, and keep in mind, Sammy Hagar got through his Vegas residency. He must be gloating a little bit that he did. Not that he's that kind of guy who has an axe to grind, but Sammy Hagar would have had a video message up immediately upon the cancellation. The next day, he would have had another one going, hey, so I'm feeling better. He would have had another one up the day after that, hawking one of his brands. That's what we would have gotten. Silence.
I'm thinking, let's think back. I'm trying to think how many videos we saw Dave do in 2021. As far as videos that he posted, that he put up there, okay? So he was on Rogan, and that was when he went to, in 2021, that was when he went to Texas and wore overalls in 95-degree heat in the summertime, or a painter's jumpsuit or whatever that was. In the late summer, there was that CBS This Morning piece. That could have been recorded months before.
That was months before. That was
okay.
2020. That one came out, like the New York Times one was the day that we spoke to Mitch Schneider for this podcast.
Okay, but didn't they air something in the summertime? Because the paintings really came out this past 2021, the past year.
I remember the CBS Morning one, listening to the context of the whole thing, that had been in the can for a while.
Okay. So, and then he did that EDM thing, right? Where he showed up at something. And then the video, there was that video where he wasn't, I think the EDM thing was in Vegas. Was that in 20? And that's where he knocked on the next door guy's door. The guy who was playing Jump, and there was a cameraman there, and right? Or playing Van Halen, some guy in some other suite. Was that 2021? If it was I'm going somewhere with this.
That was pre-COVID. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
I can trace a night that I was hanging out with some neighbors. That was the night I learned about White Claw. And White Claw was a pre-pandemic thing for me.
Okay. And I have no idea how far in advance Rogan tapes. But I would bet you he posts so many episodes of his podcast so frequently. I can't and was a lot about the painting. What I'm getting at here is that I don't think, has Dave been seen in person, any videos he posted or on an appearance anywhere else since July, August?
I never thought about that. You're totally right. Rogan might have been his only on-camera thing. I think, now that I think about it, there was one other Roth appearance in 2021, the VMAs back in September. You remember that wonderful, delightful thing where, was it, he spoke to Entertainment Weekly?
Or, yes, I think so, right? Or was it People? People ran a big, everybody kind of picked up on it, but.
Huge difference between People and Entertainment Weekly. I'm so sorry for that confusion, such different grades of journalism.
I think it was People, but but I remember that. And I remember thinking at the time, and looking back now at the photos, he looks really thin. And again, I'm not speculating by saying that, and we're all aging, and he's 67, 68 years old, for God's sakes. But
yeah, I hear what you're saying right there. Then again, the Joe Rogan interview, he takes pride in how he still wears the same size clothing, and how he's talking about Mick Jagger and saying, and there's not an ounce of fat on him. So you never know. Some people just aspire to be sickly thin.
True. He just looked thinner than than the photos and the show I saw when he was out with Kiss in early 2020 before COVID shut it down.
It's all true. But I think we can agree there was only 2 on-camera appearances in 2021.
Yes, that's what we're getting at here, folks.
The VMAs. There was nothing on camera related to the Vegas residency or the couple of new songs, quote unquote, the new old songs that he released. There was no new videos put on his YouTube channel. The semi-perfect molded floral chair song.
Yes, which I was listening to a lot when that got posted. I like it, and I listened to it a lot more after we had the guy who co-wrote it on a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, Scotty was great, but that's an old song and an old video that he reshared on social media as if it were a new song.
Yeah, in support of the Kentucky Tornado folks. Here's something I also just thought about. Assuming, I hate to use the word assume, but if the reason why it was canceled, Dave does have COVID, it's odd that he wouldn't be forthcoming about to say he has it, because in interviews in the past, can't remember which was it, Maron or Rogan but he has talked about, I've this knee's been operated how many times, the hip, the shoulder, the back. There's not this air of invincibility that he has tried to put forth. And it's just, I keep using the word cryptic. I got to get my thesaurus out, but in regards to what he mentioned about his time being short and the people who advised him saying he can't do this much longer back in that retirement announcement in October, what the hell does this all mean?
Yeah, nothing but yeah, as he would say. So that's a really good point that I didn't think of before. Not just usually it's me coming up with the mysteries here. You came up with the mystery about the lack of appearances in 2021. Pardon me, but you also helped drive home the point of this is a guy who talked about how many surgeries he had. Would he really be knocked down by COVID if it were him who had it?
Well, if he does have COVID, out of an abundance of caution, like the statement said, he does have COVID, you don't want to infect your coworkers. So I understand that. So I understand, again, canceling the first 2, maybe the first 3, which brings up another point. How come they weren't rescheduled like we spoke about last time? And since then, was there February dates ever officially announced? Because Metal Sludge, in a Metal Sludge piece I saw, and I don't know where they picked it up, there was February 11th and another date on there, but I don't remember there being anything after when they said after the first 2 are canceled, they said the other dates are, and I think the last one was January 22nd.
Yeah, that was a rumor that was picked up by a few places, the February 11th, 10th, whatever it is. And then I never saw that officially announced. When you're in Mandalay Bay, how do I explain it? The restaurant is always open, the House of Blues, but the box office is only open on show dates. So, you could walk up to somebody and go, hey, are the Roth shows happening? And they'd go, no, in the restaurant. But there wasn't somebody on site that you could go, hey, so can I buy tickets to this date? The cancellations were not live time based on when the rumors started versus what they were showing on the Ticketmaster site. So
interesting. That's really interesting.
Also, after the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day shows were canceled, they were still being advertised in the elevators and the lobby, on the signage at the venue. So it then also leads to the question of, was February 11th ever actually happening? That I don't know.
Wow. I know it's obviously super frustrating for someone who traveled and moved everything around and has been out there for what probably feels like a month now for you and your beloved. But I was thinking earlier today, I was so looking forward to New Year's Day, just like going, or that night, after that show that night, sometimes seeing that set list and going, can't wait to talk about this with Darren. What the fuck? I can't believe he pulled that out. Or what my fear was, Oh yeah, there was, or read it on, talk to you right away about it and go, yeah, it was just him in a three-piece, and
Yeah.
if you close your eyes, it could have been anywhere. Bottom line is, pardon the pun, I was so psyched to talk about the music and the show, and now we don't have that. And if you had to bet, being in Vegas, will we ever have that again?
Ooh, I don't think so. A couple of people have texted me, said there's going to come a time when you'll see more projects from him, but it's not performing live. Most people are not betting on this. And I'm kind of with them. I think it's embarrassing, whether or not it's COVID related. I think it would just be an embarrassment of sorts if he tried to book the shows again, because the people who flew out for this, if put yourself in my shoes. If he goes, hey, here's 6 more shows, would you really want to fly yourself up and get the time off work and
right, and run the risk that Lucy's going to pull the football?
Good Peanuts analogy right there. Yeah, it's the boy who cried wolf. Like, I'm not doing that. I'll just wait for the YouTube videos.
Because he set this up for a big finale. You don't announce your retirement, and then 6 months after you canceled shows at the end of the year, go out on a bunch of summer dates, which we thought may have happened. I mean, everybody retires more than once, but it really sounded so emphatic with Dave. Like, this is it. Again, we've talked about this before. You can skirt all around. You can make a contract saying we are never going to perform live again, and then 5 years later going, we ripped up the contract. You could say, you could do a farewell tour like Kiss and go, well, it was just farewell to 2 of the guys.
Right.
You could say it's the end of the road tour for Kiss and go, and then there's more dates after the final end of the road day and go, well, we never said end of the road doesn't mean end at sea. Sure, we're doing shows on the Kiss cruise. In other words, you can get around, smart marketers and smart musicians and managers can get around these things 100 different ways, right? It drives demand. If you think it's going to be the last time you see it, it drives demand. But if you're setting the stage to give people the greater risk of a big disappointment where it's just not going to happen, and then you're getting older anyway. Whew.
Yeah. So if I were him, I would not try and rebook this residency as much as I'd love to see him perform live. I would get some music out that's already in the can. I would relaunch the Roth show, get that next book out, and have that museum painting exhibition, because all those paintings are just taking up space. It'd make more sense to be in a place and or auctioned off.
It's legacy. It's like when you're 67, it's legacy defining time.
For sure. I mean, let's look at what Gene Simmons has done in the last 2 years, besides selling homes that he bought for his family that his family didn't want, and then promoting them. Gene Simmons did his art exhibition. He just announced his museum exhibit, which I think is going beside Kiss Mini Golf.
Right.
He did the Gene Simmons vault a couple of years ago of all the unreleased stuff.
Yeah, and toured behind that I saw him live with an amazing backing band. He was fantastic.
I didn't know you got to see that.
Yes, he did a bunch of shows. Look it up and do some really great stuff. Him doing Charisma from Dynasty. Oh Christ, he's got a great backing band, and yeah, he did a bunch of like club shows. I saw him here at a minor league ballpark stadium with Cheap Trick actually, and Don Felder and one of my favorite local bands here, Flip. It was part of it was a hurricane relief sort of deal.
That is a great show. I'm jealous of that one. Well,
it was about, when was that? 3 years ago. And make a note, go look up some of the Gene live stuff because it's great. But to your point, super active.
Yeah, you could make fun of Kiss all you want for the lack of quality or the lying to the fans kind of stuff, but all the stuff that Gene has been doing, like I would go look at a Roth exhibit of all of his memorabilia. I would look at all of his paintings. I want to hear some of that music that's in the can. Why can't he finish these damn things? So we basically end all this with more questions than we do answers, without feeling we got any shred of truth going on. And I'm not saying that this is going to become the Hagar cast or the Sharon cast, but
a deep dive into Van Halen 3, episode 2, track 2.
The Mitch Malloy cast.
Oh, there's a DVD coming of his Van Halen show.
I'm sure it's great. The dude can still sing.
He can still sing, but that's kind of a reach.
Yes.
Next up, Patty Smythe. Here's the songs I would have done had I been more than talked about in Van Halen. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Although as a fan, it is really cool. So I have egg on my face. It's got me curious.
As a Van Halen?
As a Van Halen fan, I mean,
Van Halen?
Van Halen.
Yes. If I go to either the Van Halen shows before leaving Vegas, and there's any special surprise guests, you'll be the first person I text.
Awesome. Maybe Michael Anthony posting on Instagram. Maybe that's the second best thing from possibly showing up with Dave, which nobody was anybody talking about that as a rumor. It was all about Alex possibly showing up, which was never going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And we have seen Michael Anthony. Did you ever see the video of him, Fred Corey from Cinderella, John 5, and I'm blanking on who the other person. They did like 3 or 4 Van Halen songs live a couple of years ago.
Yes. Oh, it's great. Yeah, it's totally great. Did they do? Yes, I know exactly, from some club in Hollywood or something, right?
Yeah, I don't think Michael Anthony is any axe to grind there.
No.
He'll play with anyone at any time.
And he'll play great and sound great. I love the dude.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird in a way that Michael Anthony doesn't talk much about what's going on, yet we feel like we know him.
And he often doesn't know what's going on. I mean, and I don't mean that as an insult. They cut him out years ago.
And we still feel super connected to him. And we come away from this residency going, wow, we don't know anything about Dave, where we're going to see him next, when we're going to see him next, if the Kentucky benefit show is real, who would be backing him.
Yeah. And
we don't know a thing. And here we are.
I always feel connected to Sammy. I am a fan. I'm much more of a fan of, I was a fan before he joined Van Halen. I mean, not a huge fan, but there was a lot of stuff there was stuff I dug of his, but I call myself watching, was it Right Before Christmas, about 2 or 3 episodes of his TV show with when he's jamming with I'm completely now having a brain fart, the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers. And he's got Billy Gibbons on there. It's easy to rip on Sammy. I mean, surprisingly, there was not a Chiron of a bottle of Cabo Wabo tequila. I don't even think there was any product placement in the show itself. It was great stuff, man. He's out there. He's creating. He's doing stuff. You saw him during. There was those lockdowns. The lockdown session songs they did. You feel connected. As a fan, you're getting stuff to enjoy, which ultimately you want to give to the fans.
Well, my last thought on this, unless you have more to add, is when you take a step back, Sammy Hagar has multiple lines of successful spirits. He has a restaurant chain, the nightclub. Shouldn't it be Dave who has...
No.
Who has... Well, think about it. Every show, Dave brings out the Jack Daniels bottle. He's the party guy.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he have been the guy who wound up with the successful nightclub business?
No, because that would take away from all these crazy pursuits that he's done. That guy has chased more muses strictly because of real passion, not for any sort of business sense, right? I'm going to go to Japan for 2 years and learn this ancient art of pencil drawing and suck at it. But I'm going to dig and dig and dig and become great at it. I'm going to be a black belt. I'm going to learn to fly a helicopter and be an EMT. Teaser alert.
Teaser alert. Yes, that'll be an interview that happens to appear in the very near future. And other people who are from around the EMT era have expressed interest in talking with us in the very near future. So if you like your David Lee Roth from the years 2001 to 2006, you may be in luck soon.
Right on. As always, Detective Darren is on the case.
Yes.
You never know what might happen in the next 48 hours. Who knows who's going to DM you through the DLR cast on Twitter? Who knows who might text you out of the blue? Who knows what you might find searching trademarks somewhere?
I wouldn't say it's who's going to DM me. I'm going to say, who is it that writes back to my DM and isn't disgusted with me? And that's how it usually goes. And we do have one or two coming up from the Dave No Holds Barbecue. That's also coming up in the near future. So stick with us, and you're going to go further into the rabbit hole.
While we're disappointed with what's transpired the last week and a half, we will bring you more fun, cool content. And let me reiterate, I just hope he's healthy. And that's it, man. Just hope he's healthy and he's here for years to come. That this is just COVID. Whoever has COVID is healthy. Let's just hope everything is okay, and there'll be plenty of time to speculate in times ahead.
Ditto. Hope he's well. More importantly, hope to hear the truth of what happened in the near future, even if it is a different kind of truth.
Oh, man. Just walked. That was a big old beach ball with a fungo bat, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Sweet Jewish carpenter. I just walked right into that damn thing.
Yeah, but thanks for listening. And Steve, thanks for being the best darn co-host possible.
Oh, my friend, thank you. Happy New Year. And we will chat very soon. And thanks, folks, for sticking with us and downloading and streaming and be a part of the DLR cast.
Yeah, what he
Cheers.
said.